On Tuesday, September 16th, Ghana entered a new chapter in its national story. President John Dramani Mahama unveiled what he called the Big Push Project, a $10 billion investment agenda that he promised would fundamentally transform the country's economy, infrastructure, and society. It was not a policy announcement dressed in political language. It was a bold national statement, an invitation for Ghanaians to believe once again that their country could achieve greatness. Ghana's journey since independence in 1957 has been one of ambition, struggle, resilience, and renewal. The nation has often been described as the Black Star of Africa, a guiding light for the continent in moments of pride and progress. But like many developing nations, Ghana has wrestled with economic volatility, infrastructure deficits, and youth unemployment. These challenges have been magnified by rapid urbanization, population growth, and global competition. For decades, successive governments have launched development programs. Some achieved their targets, others stumbled under the weight of financial limitations, mismanagement, or political discontinuity. But one constant has remained: the Ghanaian people's demand for jobs, reliable infrastructure, affordable healthcare, quality education, and a strong economy that can stand tall on the continental and global stage. The Big Push Project is Mahama's answer to this enduring demand. Unlike piecemeal projects or sector-specific initiatives, it is a comprehensive master plan that seeks to transform multiple sectors simultaneously. It is about roads and railways, but also about schools and hospitals. It is about energy and digital technology, but also about farmers, traders, and families. In short, it is about building a Ghana that works for all. The Big Push rests on 4 interconnected pillars, each designed to address a critical national need. Infrastructure expansion is the first pillar. Ghana's growth has been slowed by congested highways, incomplete road networks, underdeveloped railways, and limited port capacity. The Big Push commits billions of dollars to dualize major highways, complete critical interchanges in Accra and Kumasi, modernize Tema and Takoradi ports, expand Kotoka International Airport, and revive long-abandoned railway corridors. Job creation forms the second pillar. For years, Ghana's young people have struggled to find meaningful employment. The Big Push promises to generate over 1 million jobs, directly through construction and indirectly through industries, services, and supply chains linked to infrastructure projects. The plan is not only to build, but to ensure Ghanaians, especially the youth, are the ones doing the building. Industrial growth is the third pillar. Ghana has long relied on exports of raw materials, cocoa, gold, oil, while importing finished goods. The Big Push envisions a different path, a Ghana where raw cocoa is processed into chocolate at home, where cashew and shea butter are packaged and exported, where factories and industrial parks hum with activity across the regions. Digital technology is also part of this industrial drive, with investments in innovation hubs and ICT training. Social development makes up the fourth pillar. Infrastructure and industry alone do not make a nation prosperous. People must feel the benefits. The Big Push therefore includes new schools, expanded universities, modern hospitals, affordable housing, rural electrification, and nationwide broadband connectivity. It is a vision that insists development must be inclusive, not concentrated only in the capital or elite sectors. The scope of the Big Push is staggering. It reads like a catalogue of Ghana's most ambitious dreams, finally pulled together under one plan. The Accra-Tema motorway, one of the country's busiest and oldest highways, will be expanded, dualised, and fitted with modern tolling and service lanes. Across the country, major roads linking Accra to Kumasi, Kumasi to Tamale, and Cape Coast to Takoradi will be dualised, while thousands of kilometres of feeder roads will connect villages and farms to urban markets. On the railway front, the plan is nothing short of a revival. The eastern line from Accra to Kumasi will be rebuilt for both passenger and freight trains. The northern line will stretch from Kumasi to Tamale and beyond, linking the north to the south. A new freight railway will connect Takoradi and Tema ports, allowing goods to move swiftly between the country's two largest harbours. Feasibility studies for urban light rail in Accra and Kumasi are also included. Ports and harbours are another priority. Tema Port will receive expanded container terminals and digitised customs clearance. Takoradi Port will get specialised oil and gas terminals to support Ghana's offshore industry. Fishing harbours in Sekondi, Elmina, and new coastal towns will be upgraded to support artisanal fishing communities. Air transport will also see an upgrade. Kotoka International Airport will expand its passenger and cargo facilities, while regional airports in Kumasi, Tamale, and Sunyani will be modernised. The goal is to make Accra a West African aviation hub. Energy is a backbone of the big push. Solar farms in the north, wind projects along the coast, and expansions of the national grid will bring stable electricity to every corner of Ghana. Rural electrification is a priority, ensuring no community is left behind in darkness. Education and healthcare are equally central. The big push promises modern schools, science labs, expanded universities, regional hospitals, community clinics, telemedicine systems, and training programs for teachers and health workers. Finally, the big push embraces the digital future. A nationwide broadband expansion, technology parks in Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale, e-government platforms, and youth training in digital jobs will put Ghana firmly on the global digital map. Bold projects like the Big Push are never free from politics. Supporters hail it as the most comprehensive national plan in Ghana's modern history, while critics question its feasibility, its financing, and whether it is more of a political promise than a deliverable program. For Mahama, this skepticism is familiar. He has long been called the nation builder because of his visible track record in roads, hospitals, and schools. The Big Push is not a departure from this legacy, but its culmination. His message is simple. Leadership is not only about speeches, it is about legacy. The Big Push also redefines the social contract. For the unemployed graduate, it promises training and jobs. For the rural farmer, it means better roads and markets. For the nurse in WA, it means a modern hospital. For the trader in Makola, it means faster transport and safer marketplaces. For every Ghanaian, it is a promise that development will not stop at Accra. It will reach them too. Unity is another theme. Ghana's development has often been uneven, with some regions left behind. The Big Push explicitly seeks to correct this, spreading projects across all 16 regions, connecting the north and south, rural and urban, poor and rich. In this way, the Big Push is not just an economic program, it is a nation-building program designed to remind Ghanaians that they are one people on a shared journey. Every visionary project faces obstacles, and the Big Push is no exception. The sheer size of the program, at $10 billion, demands scrutiny and discipline. The first challenge is financing. Raising such a vast sum requires a careful balance of international loans, public-private partnerships, diaspora investments, and domestic mobilization. If poorly managed, the Big Push could burden Ghana with unsustainable debt. To avoid this, the program emphasizes blended financing, in which high-return infrastructure projects like highways, ports, and railways generate revenues to repay loans. Public-private partnerships are critical, ensuring private investors share both risks and profits, while institutions like the African Development Bank, World Bank, and bilateral partners provide long-term support. The second challenge is political continuity. Ghana's highly competitive political system often breeds short-term thinking. Projects launched by one administration are sometimes abandoned by the next. For the Big Push to succeed, it must be embraced as a national agenda, not a partisan promise. Citizens, businesses, and future governments must see themselves as stakeholders in its continuity. Implementation bottlenecks are another risk. Delays in procurement, contractor inefficiencies, land disputes, and corruption could slow progress. Ghana has seen many projects falter not because of lack of vision, but because of poor execution. That is why the Big Push emphasizes transparency, with digital dashboards, parliamentary oversight, and citizen monitoring systems to ensure accountability. External risks also loom large. Global interest rates, oil and gold price fluctuations, and regional instability in West Africa could affect Ghana's ability to finance and implement the plan. The COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine conflict have shown how vulnerable supply chains can be. Ghana must therefore build resilience, diversifying revenue sources and prioritizing local production of materials. Finally, there is the challenge of public trust. Ghanaians have witnessed many ambitious projects launched with fanfare but left incomplete. To overcome skepticism, the Big Push must deliver quick wins in its first 2 years: visible roads, functioning clinics, ongoing construction sites, to prove its seriousness. To appreciate the Big Push, it helps to place it in the long arc of Ghana's development history. When Ghana gained independence in 1957, President Kwame Nkrumah envisioned a bold industrialization drive. His legacy includes the Akosombo Dam, which continues to power the nation, and Tema Port, which remains a hub of trade. Factories across the country symbolized his dream of a self-sufficient Ghana. Yet, political instability and economic mismanagement cut his plans short. Still, Nkrumah left a lesson. A nation must dream big, even if not all dreams are fulfilled. Decades later, Jerry John Rawlings oversaw reforms in the 1980s and 1990s that stabilized Ghana's economy and expanded infrastructure. Rural electrification programs and basic schools flourished. Rawlings taught Ghana the importance of stability and accountability as foundations for development. President John Agyekum Kufuor ushered in what many call the golden age of infrastructure, with projects like the George Bush Highway, the capitation grant for schools, and the school feeding program. His government embraced global partnerships, showing that international cooperation could drive domestic progress. John Evans' Atta Mills focused on social policies, balancing growth with equity, expanding healthcare, and strengthening fiscal discipline. He reminded Ghanaians that development is not only about roads and bridges, but also about the welfare of people. John Dramani Mahama inherited this history and built upon it with interchanges, hospitals, schools, and digital platforms. He became known as the nation builder, a leader whose legacy was visible in concrete structures and social programs. The Big Push is the continuation of this legacy, combining Nkrumah's boldness, Rawlings' governance, Kufuor's partnerships, and Mills's social equity into one integrated vision. Ghana is not alone in pursuing a big push. Around the world, countries have transformed themselves through bold, coordinated investments. Ethiopia launched massive infrastructure projects like the Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railway and the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, turning itself into one of Africa's fastest-growing economies. The lesson is clear. Infrastructure is the backbone of growth. Rwanda rebuilt itself from tragedy into a model of governance, technology, and tourism. Its discipline and focus show Ghana that vision without accountability leads nowhere. Singapore in the 1960s was a poor port city. By investing in world-class ports, schools, and industries, it became one of the richest nations in the world. Its story proves that small nations can leap into prosperity with bold planning. South Korea transformed from war-torn poverty into an industrial giant in 2 generations. Highways, education, and technology propelled it into the global economy. It shows Ghana that consistency over decades is the key to success. China undertook the greatest big push of all time, building highways, airports, high-speed rail, and manufacturing hubs that reshaped the global economy. While Ghana cannot replicate China's scale, it can learn that big thinking, executed with discipline, creates unstoppable growth. The Big Push is not only for Ghana, it has regional and continental implications. Ghana is the natural gateway to West Africa. Its ports serve landlocked neighbours like Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. Expanded highways and railways will integrate trade across borders, reducing costs and strengthening regional ties. Accra hosts the headquarters of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, the largest free trade zone in the world by population. With improved logistics, industrial parks, and digital hubs, Ghana is positioned to be the springboard for African trade. The Big Push directly supports AfCFTA by making Ghana the ideal location for manufacturing, warehousing, and distribution. Energy and connectivity will also flow across borders. Solar and wind power projects can export electricity to neighbouring states, while broadband expansion will tie Ghana into Africa's digital economy. By 2035, Ghana could stand as a continental hub, linking West African farmers to global markets, connecting Africa's digital innovators to the world, and serving as a model of how infrastructure drives integration. Development is only meaningful if it changes lives. The Big Push is designed to transform the daily experiences of ordinary Ghanaians. For students, it means modern classrooms, science labs, digital libraries, and expanded universities. Overcrowded schools will become a thing of the past, and Ghana's youth will be trained for a digital future. For farmers, it means feeder roads that connect them to markets, storage facilities that reduce post-harvest losses, and agro-processing factories that buy their crops. No longer will farmers see their produce rot for lack of access. For healthcare workers, it means new hospitals, clinics, and diagnostic centres. Telemedicine will connect rural patients to specialists in Accra. Pregnant women in remote towns will deliver in safe facilities instead of travelling miles. For traders and small businesses, it means better transport routes, modern markets, and stable power. Digital platforms will allow entrepreneurs to sell across regions and borders. For job seekers, it means over 1 million opportunities in construction, services, healthcare, and technology. Skills training programs will ensure Ghanaian youth are not only job seekers, but job creators. For families, it means dignity, affordable housing, safe roads, clean water, and reliable electricity. Children will study under lights at night, parents will access quality healthcare, and communities will thrive. Financing the Big Push is ambitious but achievable. Public-private partnerships will fund highways, interchanges, ports, and industrial parks. Private investors gain returns while Ghana gains infrastructure. International development partners like the African Development Bank and the World Bank will support with loans and grants. Bilateral partners, especially those experienced in large infrastructure, will also contribute. Domestic mobilization is central. Pension funds, local banks, and investment houses will channel resources into long-term projects. Diaspora bonds will give Ghanaians abroad a direct stake in the country's future. Strategic sector revenues from oil, gas, and mining will be reinvested in infrastructure and social services. Transparency is the guiding principle. Projects will be phased to avoid overwhelming Ghana's budget. Revenue-generating infrastructure will repay loans. Procurement and contracts will be open for public scrutiny. The aim is not reckless debt, but strategic, sustainable investment. The Big Push unfolds in 4 stages. Phase 1, the quick wins of years 1 and 2, includes motorway expansion, interchanges, pilot tech hubs, classrooms, and regional hospitals. These are visible markers to build confidence. Phase 2, years 3 to 5, scales up. Railway construction, port upgrades, agro-processing plants, regional airport expansion, housing projects, and renewable energy farms. Phase 3, years 6 to 8, focuses on consolidation. Light rail in Accra and Kumasi, nationwide broadband, fully operational industrial parks, and expanded healthcare and education. Phase 4, years 9 to 10, delivers legacy projects, completed railway corridors, smart cities, renewable energy dominance, and integration with AfCFTA. At every stage, monitoring will ensure accountability. Independent bodies, citizen feedback, and digital dashboards will track progress in real time. If the big push succeeds, Ghana in 2035 will look dramatically different. It will be a modern nation of dualized highways, modern railways, thriving factories, smart cities, and renewable energy. It will be a society where every child is in school, every family has reliable power, every region has hospitals, and every young person has work. Ghana will be a regional power, a logistics hub for West Africa, a digital leader for Africa, a green energy exporter, and a global model of democratic development. For President Mahama, the big push will stand as his greatest legacy. Just as Nkrumah is remembered for independence and Akosombo, Rawlings for stability, and Kufuor for highways, Mahama will be remembered as the leader who dared to push Ghana into a new era of prosperity. The big push is more than a plan. It is a promise that Ghana can dream big, act boldly, and rise together. It is a promise to students, farmers, traders, workers, and families. It is a promise to Africa that Ghana will lead by example. It is a promise to the world that the Black Star will shine brighter than ever before. This is not just Mahama's big push. This is Ghana's big push. This is the nation builder's vision of a nation that refuses to remain ordinary and chooses instead to become extraordinary. Ghana's story is still being written. The Big Push project is not just a government plan. It is a national vision that belongs to every Ghanaian. The question is, how will you be part of it? If you believe in Ghana's future, show your support by liking this video. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What excites you most about the Big Push? Jobs, roads, hospitals, schools, or digital transformation? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into Ghana's development and Africa's rise. Share this video with friends, family, and colleagues so more people can join the conversation about Ghana's transformation. Together, let's keep the dream alive. Together, let's push Ghana forward. This is not just Mahama's vision. This is our vision, our future, our big push.